Ever feel like your morning is already a fight before you've even had coffee? Like you're trying to get ahead, but somehow the day's already winning? That's because most morning routines, especially the ones we think are productive, are actually leaking your energy before you even start. I've worked with so many women who wake up and immediately check email, plan their day, or jump into tasks. They think they're being efficient, but they're really spending their best mental energy on other people's priorities before their own brain has even warmed up. I'll show you what to cut and what to add instead. You probably think your morning routine is helping you. That's the trap, because the habits we call productive are often the exact things that quietly drain us before you take your first sip of coffee. Let me give you the 3 biggest morning energy leaks I see with the women I coach. The first is checking email or messages before you get out of bed, or at least before you've had a chance to settle into your own thoughts. Number 2 is mentally running through your entire to-do list while you're still half awake. And the third is jumping into what I call quick tasks. It always starts small, with a fast reply, a calendar check, or one tiny thing before breakfast. Here's why each one is so damaging. When you check your phone first thing, you're not starting your day at all. What you're actually doing is reacting to someone else's agenda, and your brain goes from rest straight into problem-solving mode before you've even had a chance to figure out what you need today. When you mentally rehearse your whole to-do list before coffee, you're making dozens of tiny decisions before your decision-making fuel tank has been refilled. And those quick tasks never stay quick. One email turns into 3, and suddenly you've spent your best morning energy on things that don't move your business forward. I had a client who would wake up at 5:30 and answer emails in bed because she thought she was getting ahead. By 9 in the morning, she felt like she'd already worked a full day and she hadn't touched her own biggest project once. Her brain felt wiped out before her real work even started, and she couldn't figure out why she felt exhausted by lunch. The problem was that her morning looked productive on the outside. She was answering emails, responding fast, and being helpful, but none of that grew her business. And it was using up the mental fuel she needed for the work that actually mattered. The research on this is pretty striking. One study found that even a brief break from heavy morning smartphone use improved attention so much that it reversed about 10 years of age-related decline. Another trial showed that just 1 week of reduced smartphone use cut anxiety by over 16% and depression by nearly 25%. I'm not saying your phone is the enemy. What I'm saying is that grabbing it before your brain has warmed up is like asking your car to do highway speed before the engine has turned over. And if you think this means you just need more willpower, you're missing the real problem entirely. These habits are draining, yet we keep doing them. And there's a reason that has nothing to do with willpower or discipline. It's about the story we've been sold. We live in a culture that celebrates busy mornings. The earlier you wake up, the more emails you answer before 7, the more impressive you sound at networking events. For female entrepreneurs especially, there's this added pressure because we're often juggling business leadership with caregiving and household management. Your job title doesn't tell the whole story. You're also the person who remembers dentist appointments, buys the groceries, and checks on the aging parents. Society tells us that if we just get up an hour earlier, we can finally get ahead. But here's what nobody talks about. Reactivity is not productivity. Answering emails feels like work because it demands your attention and your words, but it's actually just responding to someone else's timeline. You're not building your business when you clear your inbox at 6 a.m. You're just proving to yourself that you're reachable, which is a trap that keeps you exhausted and keeps your own priorities waiting in the background like furniture you keep meaning to rearrange. We also carry this invisible guilt. If we're not immediately available, if we don't answer at 6 in the morning or 10 at night, we worry that clients will think we're unprofessional or that our business will fall apart. That fear keeps us tethered to our phones before our brains have even finished booting up. But the truth is that your best work, the kind that grows your revenue and builds your reputation, requires a mind that hasn't already been drained by 50 small decisions. There's also something called decision fatigue, and it starts the second You begin making choices about what to wear, what the kids will eat, which email needs an immediate reply, or whether to take a meeting or push it to next week. Every small decision burns a little fuel. By the time you sit down to do the work that actually grows your revenue, you've already burned through the mental fuel you need for creative thinking and smart decisions. Research shows that 88% of entrepreneurs struggle with mental health issues, and a huge part of that comes from this constant reactive mode where you're always on and never fully protected. There is a way to flip this. And it doesn't require waking up at 5 in the morning or adding an hour to your morning. A protective morning looks very different from what you've been told. It's not about doing more, it's about delaying demands until your brain is actually ready for them. Let me give you 4 simple protective shifts. You don't need to do all 4 tomorrow. Start with the one that feels easiest, because small wins build momentum faster than perfect plans that fall apart by Wednesday. First, swap phone checking for a 10-minute buffer. Keep your phone out of reach for the first 10 minutes after you wake up. Put it in another room, or at least across the bedroom, so you have to physically get up to reach it. Use those 10 minutes to drink a glass of water, stretch, or just sit quietly while the kettle boils. It sounds almost too simple, but that small window gives your brain a chance to transition from sleep to awake without being hijacked by someone else's urgency. Research on digital detox shows that women entrepreneurs who create phone-free mornings report sharper decision-making and stronger boundaries throughout their whole day. Once you've got that phone out of reach, the next step is protecting what your brain focuses on first. Second, swap day planning for one priority clarity. Instead of mentally rehearsing your entire to-do list, ask yourself, what would make today feel like a win? Pick the single thing that matters most and write it down on a piece of paper, not in your phone. That's all you need. One written priority protects your attention like a fence around a garden, because trying to hold 10 tasks in your head before breakfast is already scattering your focus. Female founders who plan their top priority before checking email are consistently more effective because they spend their peak morning energy on their own agenda instead of reacting to everyone else's. But a focused mind still needs a body that's actually awake, and that's where most morning routines fall short. Third, swap scrolling for one small movement. 5 to 10 minutes of walking, stretching, or even pacing while your coffee brews is enough. You don't need yoga pants or a gym membership. You can stretch your arms overhead while the toast is in the toaster, or walk to the end of your driveway and back. Movement wakes up your body, and an awake body pulls your brain online with it, giving you a natural energy boost that lasts longer than caffeine alone. Research consistently links morning movement to better alertness and less stress throughout the day, and it works even when you only have 5 minutes. Now here's the shift that makes everything else stick, and it's the one most women resist the most. Fourth, swap email first for your own work first. Delay email and social media until after you've spent at least 30 minutes on your single priority. 30 minutes of focused work on your own business before you start fielding everyone else's requests is like putting on your own oxygen mask first. The world will wait, and your inbox will still be there at 10, but your best mental energy probably won't last that long if you spend it on email first. Entrepreneurs who protect their first hour for deep work consistently report better focus and less overwhelm because they're using their freshest brain for their hardest thinking. Even a 15-minute routine can work if it includes these 4 protective elements. The research on morning routines for female entrepreneurs shows that consistency matters more than length, and that a routine tailored to your real life beats a fancy template copied from social media every single time. You don't need to copy a CEO who meditates for an hour and drinks a $12 smoothie. You need a morning that fits your actual kitchen, your actual schedule, and your actual energy level when you first open your eyes. I know what you're thinking. This sounds nice, but real life is messy. Some mornings your toddler is already awake when you open your eyes, or you have a 7 a.m. client call, or you're traveling and everything is off schedule. Here's what I want you to remember. Start with one shift, not all four. Pick the one that feels almost laughably easy, because that's the one you'll actually do when life gets messy. Maybe it's just keeping your phone across the room tonight, or maybe it's writing one priority on a sticky note before bed, so it's waiting for you in the morning. One of my clients started with nothing more than putting her phone in the kitchen drawer before she went to sleep, and she told me that one change gave her back her mornings within a week. But that single shift only worked because she didn't try to fix everything at once. There's also a rule I want you to write down somewhere, you'll see it. If you can do a new habit most of the way there, that's enough. Perfectionism kills more morning routines than laziness ever does. A 10-minute walk that happens 3 times a week is infinitely better than the ideal hour-long routine that never happens at all. When you have caregiving demands, anchor your one protective habit to something you already do. While the kids eat breakfast, drink your water, and think about your one priority. During a business trip, write your priority on the hotel notepad instead of opening your laptop. If you have an early meeting, do a 5-minute version. 1 glass of water and 1 written priority is still protection. Track your energy, not your output. Ask yourself at 10 in the morning whether you feel less scattered than you usually do. That's your measure of success. You don't need a spreadsheet or a fancy app. What you need is to notice if you feel calmer when you sit down to work, if you reach for your phone less often, or if you're able to finish your most important task before noon instead of pushing it to the afternoon again. When your morning protects you instead of performing for everyone else, you'll notice the difference within a few days. You'll feel it in your patience, in your focus, and in the quality of the decisions you make before lunch. The goal isn't a perfect morning routine that looks good on Instagram. What you really want is a morning that leaves you with enough energy to do your best work and still have something left for your family at the end of the day. Your morning isn't about doing more before the day starts. It's about protecting your energy from everything that wants to steal it. Pick one protective shift to try tomorrow morning and let me know in the comments which one you chose. I'll see you in the next one.